And every episode, in some ways, or most of them, actually end up in some ways deal with technology because I think it's like a cause of so much of our issues in today's society.
This is great. Okay, so I am speaking today with Ethan Matthew, the creator, director, and producer of Rogue Psychology. Ethan, thank you so much. I really appreciate this.
Thank you for
Um,
having
Absolutely. This show is genuinely hilarious. I did not expect to fall in love with it as much as I did.
I appreciate
Uh,
that.
this was, it's something entire, it feels entirely unique. Where did it come from?
Yeah, so I have a history of pranking, of just liking to like, it's always been a thing like I've loved to do with my friends. And then from there, one day I had a moment where I'm like, could I use this skill for good? Like, is there a way that I can use the same principles of understanding human psychology, but like actually trying to help people? So that's kind of the impetus of it.
Well, I mean, this is a very like these are fascinating. I've only seen the first two episodes, but the
Yeah.
first two episodes right off the jump are fascinating explorations, and I think the show describes itself as about being about personal problems with and universal solutions. So, can you talk about your approach for this sort of thing and why you wanted to tackle these issues?
Yeah, it was issues like John and I have both struggled with a lot, like just common things from phone addiction to like issues with dating or relationships. And yeah, so we just sort of got together and like thought about these issues and then what are some more like imaginative ways to tackle them was sort of the thing. And then so from there is just like a fun process of really and then seeing if like and because everything we did, like or John did in the show, I also did myself. So just also a process like that these could actually work. Like that was kind of the thing for a show. We wanted to be earnest and be like, yeah, these ideas could actually work.
Well, yeah, I would love to talk about that with you working with John because I know you're behind the camera, John's in front of it.
Yeah.
And John, I mean, he's sharing his personal not just his personal issues, but his personal struggles. While doing that with that winking eye, what is that a challenge for, I guess, for him, but also for you to sort of share your stories on screen in that way?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think one of the things that's always like difficult with this stuff is like wanting to be vulnerable and like putting everything out there. And like John was amazing in that regard, really willing to like just, yeah, be open and yeah, and where John and I are like childhood friends. So in a way, like a lot of our issues mirror each other. So and like that was kind of a cool thing as we were making the show is like we kind of picked things that both of us were struggling with. So phone addiction, it's an issue I have. He's on his phone a lot stuff. So like us there, and then obviously, yeah, and then it just we just made it personal. Like he was willing to really like open up, and it was awesome. Yeah,
Yeah, I think that vulnerability helps it from being snarky. You know,
yeah,
it's a fine line to walk when you're dealing with issues like, well, I mean, death, social media, and divorce.
yeah.
But there's no making fun of it. It's more the struggles of it that seems to be the focus.
Yeah, the struggles and like the relatability, like in the relationship stuff too, like with that episode in particular, John, we've all had it. We've all like dated people where our friends weren't necessarily in love with the person and nobody said anything. So just like trying to take those insights and then um yeah, applying them because it just becomes more relatable.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you, as you're dealing with issues like this, and certainly I know there's four other episodes in the series as well. But what surprised you most about putting these episodes together?
Um, so what was interesting and like the biggest lesson for what from it from our perspective was you have these ideas like conceptually about we want to see if dying people could help us get off our phones. So like that was an idea that I thought was really interesting. But then along the way, you start coming up against these obstacles. Like we wanted to go into a palliative care unit to shoot, and like that just wasn't going to happen. And then Marilyn, who's in the episode, she's my great aunt. So then it's just like these happy coincidences where you meet these people. And then what I actually ended up loving about the show is more not really the ideas, but the people we meet along the way. So I think we just had an openness to meet people who are going to help us like achieve our objectives and then like learning about these people. Like the ideas being a vehicle really to like learn about interesting people is what ended up like I think was like one of the stronger parts of the show. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. I wanted to ask, okay, this explains it too with her being your great aunt, but Marilyn
Yeah.
101,
Yeah.
maybe the most charming person
Yeah.
I've seen
Amazing.
on television. Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah. I was so resistant to it because like all the producers and everyone was like, well, let's just get old people and make them look sick. And I'm like, that's not authentic. Like, that's not how I want to go with the show. But then I was having dinner with Marilyn and I was like, wait a second. Seeing her and like learning about her story that she's 101, she's 102 now, and just seeing like how healthy she was. I'm like, this can be a good vehicle for us. So it's
What
pretty
was
cool.
her response? I mean, in your conversations with her, because I mean, I don't want to say too much, but certainly you have her in these videos to help people get off their phones. But
Yeah.
then she's there speaking with the test subjects, if you will.
Yeah.
What were those conversations with her like? With her like after the fact?
Oh man, she really connected with Tim, the other influencer. They really Marilyn's a beautiful person. Like she loves everyone, and she really connected with Tim, the other influencer, and all. And she was the thing that's really cool about it is she's super passionate actually about getting people off her phones. So she was really into it. So she was actually genuinely happy when her videos worked and when they didn't, and she really connected with Tim too. So it was really special actually that part of it.
I
She
love
put
that.
these people together just to see how it's all going to work is really nice to see
Yeah,
things like
yeah,
that happen.
yeah, absolutely. Well, and I wanted to ask you too. You know, so both of again, the first two episodes, both of them have to do with technology. And certainly our relationship with technology has changed. On the one hand, you've got the episode where you're trying to get people off of their phones. On the other, you've got the Speak Now app where you're trying to let people share their feelings about a marriage before it takes place. I was wondering, in your mind, technology is it helping or hurting our relationships with each other, or
Yeah,
both?
I think it can be both. I think like with anything, it's about finding that balance with technology. And like it's funny, that's a good point. I never even thought about that. How like one is about using it, trying to get off it, and one we're using it. And I think that's the struggle we all have with technology is like how to find that balance. And every episode in some ways, or most of them, actually end up in some ways deal with technology because I think it's like a cause of so much of our issues in today's society. So yeah, it's just about finding that balance.
Yeah, yeah. It's interesting. Like in the Speak Now one,
Yeah,
it's supposed to be helpful.
yeah, it's supposed to be helpful. And there, it's just a sort of an insight into this idea of like how what role should our friends play? Because like in because our friends usually do have good instincts about who we're dating and if they're good for you because they know you really well. And it's like what role should we how should we take their advice? And yeah, in that case, technology there is a use for technology in that arena. So for sure. But it's funny, we have another episode where it's all about overstimulation and about how that's maybe making us more easily offended. So that's another episode where we look at like the negative effects of technology again. So yeah, we've kind of ping pong with that.
See, this is what I like about the series is it's not a prank show.
No,
And it's not, but it's dealing with the psychology of issues that we don't really. I mean, we discuss things about too much screen time. We discuss things about tech, but it's discussing about it in a way about how it affects us and interacts, how we interact with it, and how it affects our interactions with other people.
yeah,
And I know that you've got this wonderful psychologist who's been on at least in the first two episodes. Um, what were those conversations like in bringing her on? How has she felt about a show like this, trying to get to things from a different point of view?
yeah, she loves it. I met Kathy also just at my coffee shop as we were looking for a psychologist, and then we ended up just chatting, and she's like, well, yeah, really. really sharp, and she always is sending me articles just about stuff relevant to what we're talking about. So the thing I think, and I want to speak for her, but the thing I think she liked about the show is that we're tackling like really things that are really like in the zeitgeist, like that are really like things everyone's struggling with. And then some of the ideas she likes and some of them she doesn't, which is great too. Like she's not gonna say she likes something if she doesn't like it. So it's like really like so we have that honest conversation with her as well about it. And she's good because it's like we're also trying to make a TV show, but we want it to be earnest. So she's the one who's like, there's that conversation there with her about like, well, this wouldn't actually work, or there's this. So it's like, it creates a good tension for us and a good challenge for us as writers to be like, how do we get her on board? And we don't always, but yeah,
Yeah, I think it's in the first episode, and she goes, I don't like this,
yeah,
but but now I do, or something like it was interesting. It's fun to see that
yeah, that one it took,
unravel.
yeah, but she thought it was good. Like in the end, I think she was on board for it, for
Mhm.
yeah. But at first, she was like, this seems pretty extreme. Yeah, yeah.
I would love to know too, because of can like certainly we see the direct results in the first episode,
Yeah.
less so in the second episode, but there's definitely results. But I'd love to know, have you the conversations with the people that you filmed with these topics, like you said, they're things that everybody deals with. Has it had an impact on the people that you've been filming with, not just people that have seen it?
Yeah, well, so for the social media one, and again, we like showed it on camera, like where some people seem to really impact. For the yeah, like for the app where your friends can essentially object to the relationship, it's interesting because it's just something that like off camera, a lot of people are like, I would love to use that, and I'd be like really interested in using that. But then you see on camera that like yeah, it's a more complicated thing when people actually want to use that app and will they want to actually take the results and all of those things. Um, but yeah, I think generally speaking, uh, there's another episode about overstimulation where again we have John's stepdad. We put him in this anechoic chamber because John's stepdad's like he's a curmudgeon. He'd be a pretty irritable guy. And after that, it was unbelievable. He was like that helped me so much just being in a place with no stimulation. So
Mm,
yeah, it's fun when you see it actually work in, yeah, when people are talking about it, not even on camera, just off camera.
yeah, yeah. I feel like this is one of those. It honestly, this is a strange comparison. It may be, but I feel like in some ways this is almost Seinfeldian in its approach to documentary filmmaking because there's that sense of humor. There are these very real sense of real situations. And what was the thing about? I mean, everything after an episode of Seinfeld, people were talking about. I can relate to that.
That's cool. I mean, I love Seinfeld. I grew up in Seinfeld. I love Seinfeld. It's like it's maybe true on some level because I feel like that show has like influenced me in such a deep way. So potentially, yeah, that's thank you for saying that. But then, yeah, like potentially, yeah. It's funny. We when we were looking at it, we were looking at it from the two shows that I think like seem like we're playing in the same ballpark of us was like Nathan Fielder shows and like How To with John Wilson, where but we just wanted to like deal with actually see like if these ideas can actually help people. That's where we were like where we were differentiating. We're like we want these to be like interesting, unique ideas that at first kind of feel like a prank, but be like no, they actually can help you. That sort of like was our yeah, that's the thing we were trying to like really stick closely to.
Yeah, I think you've hit it. I think you've
I
hit it. Like I
appreciate
said,
that.
I didn't. When I read the synopsis, I thought this sounds interesting, but when I watched the first two episodes, I fell in love with it.
I appreciate
Uh,
that. Thank you. That's
yeah,
awesome.
it's so much fun. It's so much fun, honestly, Ethan. I really appreciate the chance to chat with you. How can people catch the show?
Yeah, so it's going to be on Cracked, which is on YouTube. And I think it's March 16th. I think we're going to be releasing the first episode. So yeah, you'll be able to find it there.
Absolutely. That's great, honestly. Ethan Matthews, the creator, director, and producer of Rogue Psychology. Honestly, thank you so much for your time, Ethan. I
Thank
really
you.
appreciate it.
Thank you. It was really, really great chatting with you.
It's a great chatting with you. Have a great day.
Bye bye.